live in an era where you can send a message to the other side of the planet in less than a second. We have access to hundreds of people in our pockets at any given moment. Yet, ironically, many of us don't even know the name of the person living next door. We've swapped physical presence for digital stand-ins. A glowing screen and a quick heart emoji have become our default ways to show we care, leaving us staring at our devices while the actual human beings around us fade out of focus. This distance has quietly warped our relationships. We've started treating human interactions like a balance sheet. We keep a mental ledger, constantly calculating, I did this much for you, so what exactly do I get in return? When you measure every interaction looking for a return on investment, connection dies. We are left with a society that is often stressed, quick to anger, and deeply lonely. But this isolation has an old cure. Centuries ago, Tamil philosophers recognized this flaw in human nature and wrote down a method to correct it. The sage Thirumawthiram laid out a radical premise. He stated that those who see love and the divine as two separate things lack wisdom. For him, wherever genuine empathy exists, the divine is physically present. This concept is known as Anbe Sivam. Following that, the legendary poet Thirukkural authored a chapter called Anbe, the possession of love. He moved past high-level ideas and listed the specific daily behaviors required to bridge the gap between a nice thought and a lived reality. These verses function as essential infrastructure for human interaction. It is a functional guide for maintaining empathy in a world that often finds it easier to stay disconnected. Thirukkural sets a brutally strict baseline. In his 80th verse, he states, if you look at a body operating without empathy, you aren't looking at a living person. You're looking at a walking corpse, nothing but skin draped loosely over a frame of bones. He sharply contrasts our modern habit of keeping score. While those without love try to hoard everything for themselves, individuals driven by genuine affection will gladly sacrifice their own comfort and even their own bodies for the sake of others. You see this tested in the historical tradition of the Myanmars, like Kanapa. He didn't follow rigid, standard protocols of worship. His intense, selfless devotion broke all the rules, proving that raw empathy bypasses formal logic entirely. This level of devotion is impossible to fake or suppress. It builds up and forces a visible, physical reaction, often spilling over as tears of pure emotion. Empathy in this framework is never a soft, passive feeling. It is a fierce, unconditional action that actively defies self-interest. To execute this philosophy, you have to scale your empathy outward. It happens in 3 distinct stages. It starts in your own living room. A functional home requires yielding your personal ego. It means putting down the phone, actively listening, and shifting your default mindset from I to we. Once secured, you step out the front door. This circle involves your physical community. Offering a deliberate smile, a gentle word, and practicing patience on a crowded street act as direct ways to conquer societal anger. The final stage expands to cover every living thing. The Saint Valalar wrote he would physically wither just seeing a thirsty plant. The ultimate goal is to extend empathy to nature, animals, and the entire ecosystem. There are no shortcuts here. You cannot bypass the process. It has to grow organically, starting from the kitchen table and pushing outward until it covers the universe. Think about basic biology. Pouring water on the roots of a plant is necessary, but it isn't enough. For the plant to survive, the leaves absolutely require the external, tangible action of sunlight. Human psychology runs on the exact same logic. Feeling a deep sense of affection in your head is useless if you never speak it aloud or show it through your actions. Keeping love locked inside is a waste of a life. But when you do express it properly, empathy stops acting like a transaction. It transforms into a free gift to the world, offered without an invoice, much like the wind or the rain. This directly challenges how we normally practice religion. Searching for the divine by bowing to a stone statue inside a temple means very little if you walk outside and ignore the suffering of the people right in front of you. The highest form of spiritual worship isn't a complex ritual. It is the simple physical act of scooping food onto a plate for someone who is hungry, or offering a hand to a stranger. All the theology and philosophy in the world hold zero value until they physically manifest as direct charity and tangible connection on the street level. We spend most of our waking hours chasing follower counts, bank balances, and social status, yet every single one of those metrics is temporary and will eventually vanish. Thirukkural leaves us with a stark reality. The only permanent legacy any of us can leave behind is the exact amount of selfless, uncalculated empathy we inject into the world. So don't wait for tomorrow. Speak the words you've been keeping in your head. Put the screen down, break through the digital barrier, and practice an act of physical kindness today. Choosing to possess love means choosing to repair the social fabric in a very literal way. It provides a blueprint for turning a world of isolated screens into a community of connected individuals.
தமிழரோடு புலம் பெயர்ந்து தரணி எங்கும் வாழ்பவளே